We gotta get a little incense going, get the vibes going before we start. Ooh, we got a little bit of matcha going. I think this one has lion's mane and reishi. All right. So today we're going to be talking about some things that I think other people should know on their spiritual journey. Or basically, today we're going to talk about some things that I've learned and I am still learning while on a spiritual journey. Let's jump straight into it. Just a little side note, as I'm learning more about like the etymology of words or etymology in general, there's a lot of words that we're taught in our society today that are incorrect in the way that we use them. And God being one of them, like if you truly look into the origination of that word, you'll understand where I'm coming from when I say sometimes I feel uncomfortable with saying God because I feel like that word is so limited to explain the source, the creator of all, that created all things, all planets, all things in general. It feels like I'm limiting the creator into this little box, and I feel like the creator is more than just God, you know. But I use that word for people who aren't familiar or comfortable with saying source or the creator or the supreme being. But I just had to put a little side note there. So you might see me flipping between the two, but honestly, I'm really more comfortable with saying the creator of all or source. So I want to say that I started my spiritual journey about 3 years ago now. And I honestly can't pinpoint a specific thing that caused the change in me. I guess I want to say I can't pinpoint what was the cause for this change or this shift in my mindset. My dad and my uncle played a big part, I do want to say, but like prior to 3 years ago, everything they would send me and tell me, I would think that they were, crazy people. They didn't know what they were talking about. There was no logic. But I honestly can say one day I just decided to give the videos or the books and things a chance. And the logic was logicking. And that's probably not a word, but it's just like something clicked and it was like, okay, a lot of questions that I had prior to 3 years ago were answered 3 years ago when I actually gave the information that they were providing me a chance. It wasn't like a specific video or a specific book. It was just like, okay, this makes sense, that makes sense. Let me watch this. Okay, he makes sense. And these people aren't just regular, people talking out of their head, but they're putting the science together of it. They're putting the facts together of it. They're pinpointing certain things in history that lines up with what they're saying. And it just was like, okay, so a lot of questions that, like, just honestly, it was just like a lot of questions that I had when I was a Christian were answered 3 years ago when I gave the information that they were providing me a chance. Yeah, I just started watching videos, reading books, articles, and things of that nature. And once I started doing those things, it was like a weight lifted off of my shoulders, so to speak, because, like I said, I was Christian. And that's not to say that, you know, religion is a bad thing, but I do think that it's the way you go about it and the way you are introduced into it. And I can say it can feel like shackles because there's not a lot of wiggle room to move around and grow. And I do want to make this clear, like when you're following a religion, and I mean following it to a T, it does feel like shackles. It does feel like there's not a lot of room to grow. Now, when you're following a religion or certain practices of a religion, but you're not really doing what your religion says you have to do to a T, then you may feel like, okay, it's not that bad. Some people are dramatic, but that's for people who are not doing the religion how the religion was set out. Like this, you can't do this, and that's it. Some people don't do that. Some people believe in it, but they still do whatever they want. And that's a common thing with Christianity, to be honest. But I digress. I'm just saying from my personal experience, obviously I can't speak for the personal experiences of other people, but for me, it feels like a weight was lifted off of my shoulders when I started my spiritual journey or started my awakening process and to look at the world and the universe and life differently overall. Um, Now, some people, I do feel like that did go on a spiritual journey and wound it back up in religion, maybe they went down a path that wasn't so much as light. Because I can't say with the spiritual journey, some people do. What you have to realize is you have to, that all spiritual practices and some spiritual journeys are not good. They're not filled with light and love and positivity. Some of those things can bring you to a dark place. But it's not the fact that spirituality is wrong overall. It's just that you went down a wrong path of it. And maybe you have to rewind, reset, and go down the path that's full of love, light, and positivity. Because I have seen that on this journey, some people associate dark practices and rituals and certain bad things with spirituality, but that's not the case. Because the world isn't bad, the universe isn't bad. It's the the creatures or the humans or the beings that inhabit it that make the universe or the world bad. Some people that get sucked up into the bad aspects of spirituality end up back in religion because they think that, oh, spirituality is bad overall. You're going to hell. You're doing this. You're doing that. But that's not the case. You just wound up in a bad position. And I think that's the same to say with religion, because certain religions have negative aspects to them, or, horrible things in them that they say you're supposed to do or you're going to experience. So I think that's with both parts of it. I don't think that that's just a one-sided thing. I did grow up Christian, and I don't associate myself as a Christian now that I've looked into the religion more, and I'm still looking into all religions, honestly. Now that I'm open, I consider myself a spiritual person, so to speak. My motto is just to spread love, positivity, and joy, and to constantly evolve into a higher vibrational version of myself. But my family members are still Christian, and though they may not be, strict Christians, but they do believe in the stories that are told for that specific religion. Um, and associate with that religion, just basically. But as a Christian, for my own personal experience, like I said, there was always a fear of me burning in hell because I wasn't following my religion to a T. Like there were certain things, like, the Ten Commandments and certain things in that aspect that I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot do any of these things. I need to stay this particular way. And it just felt like I couldn't breathe. It felt like I couldn't have fun. It felt like I couldn't step outside of my comfort zone and experience certain things if I wanted to follow this book exactly how it was set out for me to follow. And so once I found my spiritual journey, or my eyes open to really see what was going on and see the bigger picture or part of the bigger picture, it was like a giant weight lifted off my shoulder, and I felt so much better. I felt like I could breathe, you know. I felt I didn't feel scared anymore. I don't feel like that anymore. I mean, it's so much out there to learn. As cosmic beings, we're just on this planet, but there's so many others. There's so many other dimensions. There's so much to learn. It's so much out there. What David Icke always says, oh, little me. We're taught to think, little me, I can't do anything. I'm small. I'm this speck, you know. And I do think that we are all part of a much bigger whole if we open ourselves up to seeing that. And sometimes I do feel like I need to do certain practices like meditation, or I do need certain things to tap into the spiritual sides of myself, or to have a connection with God or the source. I usually say the creator of all, but use the term that you feel more comfortable with. But what I'm learning is that you do not need materialistic things to tap into your connection with God or with the source of or creator of all. All you need is you. So crystals, meditation, people, environments, books, all type of, you don't need materialistic things to tap into that connection. You are already connected if you are open up to being connected with the creator of all. We are all already connected with the creator of all. It's just a matter of whether we tap into that connection within ourselves or not. We do not have to go outside of ourselves to seek that connection, because everything begins within. And although we may be taught that in our lives, that, oh, the creator of all, source, God, is outside of you, it's a being outside of you, and I think that's false. The connection is always within you. You came from the creator of all, and therefore you are a part of the creator of all. Some days I'll find myself sitting in nature or sitting inside of my home on the floor, and I'd have profound conversations with the creator of all. No herbs, no, spells, no crystals, no books, nothing. Just me, myself, and I, and the creator of all, having a a deep, wonderful conversation. And when you're actually truly having that connection, it's something that you feel. I believe that when you have that connection with God or the creator of all, it's something that you cannot explain. It's energy. Everything is energy. It's not something that you can always put into words, because as beings on this planet, we're so limited in a lot of things. We're limited in what we can hear. We're limited in what we can see, and we're especially limited in the words that we can use. And so, energy is the only way to explain it, or to understand that when you're having that, like especially for myself, when I'm having that conversation with the creator of all, it's a feeling inside of me that knows that I'm communicating with my source. I'm tapping into that connection. I feel the message, I feel the love, I feel the positivity. It's a wholesome feeling, and it's, like I said, it's very hard to describe, but you do not need any materialistic things to tap into that connection. You just have to push yourself to reach inside of yourself to reach that connection with God. Everything begins inside of you. And even if you just look around in your life, you may realize that certain things aren't happening in your life the way you want it to, because you're always reaching from outside instead of starting within. And maybe if you begin to look inside of yourself for the answers, you'll find the answers that you're looking for. That's not to say that you'll get everything that you've ever wanted right then and there or within a short time span. I mean, speaking from personal experience currently right now, that is not the case. But when you learn patience, and I'm still learning patience, you guys knew that from a year ago. I'm still working on patience. When you learn patience, and when you reach that special connection with the creator of all, you'll feel it and you'll know. Just keep working on yourself, keep doing what you're doing, keep bettering yourself, keep being kind to those around you, and eventually all that you're asking for, all that you wish to receive will unfold into your life. And you know something that actually gave me hope? Um, there's this girl, her name is, I'm blanking. I forgot her name. She's on Gaia though. I watched some of the videos with like channelers. She's a channeler. Elizabeth. I think her name is Elizabeth. But like she made a post today and I really liked it. Like she has the farmland and the homes and the homestead that she's wanted for 8 years. It's been on her vision board for 8 years and she finally has it. And that was kind of hope for me, because it's just, it goes to show you that it doesn't mean that your dreams will never happen when you don't see it within a few months, a few years, or a few days. It's just that it will happen when you are on the same vibrational frequency as it and you are ready to receive it and you're able to handle it. And I always say that. So even if you have to wait 8 years for that goal, don't close yourself off from it because it didn't happen within your specific time frame. Everything doesn't happen when you want it to happen. It happens when you're ready for it to happen. It happens when you're spiritually and mentally and physically ready to receive whatever it is that you've been waiting for and asking for. And sometimes that may take 5 years. Sometimes that may take 10. But don't give up on it. And that's kind of what I got from her post today, because she had to wait 8 years to get her homestead or her farmland. And she has it. And that pushes me to just not give up on my dreams, no matter how long it's taking me. I know what the goal is. I know what the end goal is. I may not know the paths that I'm going to have to take to get there, because the path may change, but my goals will always remain the same. Now, I do want to say this though. I have run into a couple of people that think that herbs, crystals, things like that are bad or negative or low vibrational. And I just want to make it clear today that is not the case. When you're going on your spiritual journey, look into different things for yourself and not what others tell you. And that includes me. Do your own research and come to your own conclusions. But I will say this, based off of my research, I need people to realize that objects aren't low vibrational or harmful or negative until somebody put an intention upon that object. So that goes to say, if you buy a crystal, but you have not put any intent on that crystal, or somebody else who've had it before you did not put any intent on that crystal, it's just a decoration. It's just something that's there. Those things are only bad when the being's intention is put upon that object to inflict something bad on another person. Singing bowls, meditation, crystals, any tool, all of those tools are not bad. But what I'm saying is to realize that you do not need all of those things to tap into the spiritual aspects of yourself and to have that connection with the creator of all. But if you want to use those things to enhance your spiritual journey, then use them. That's what they're there for. Crystals can use to bring certain intentions like love, positivity, wealth, health, healing, all type of things. Meditations can be used to tap into higher versions of yourself, to manifest whatever dreams you want to come into your current reality, to be used to tap into your connection with the source and have a visualized experience. As far as herbs, things of that nature can be used to enhance your psychological state. They can induce certain things that can help you access certain aspects of your mind that you didn't have access to before. So tools aren't bad in itself, but set the correct intentions when you plan to use them and do not abuse them. I can also say this though, some days I find myself feeling bad or experiencing a bad day because I didn't get to meditate that day. I'm learning to stop making myself feel bad if I didn't get a chance to meditate, because I can still experience my connection with source or my higher self at any point in time. I do not need meditation. You do not need meditation to have that positive experience or to have a positive and good day. Get that through your mind. Meditation is good. Meditation is great. It is a great thing to do. It is a great thing to aim to do every day. But if you don't get a chance to do it, do not allow yourself to create negative experiences throughout your day because you missed something, because you feel like you missed a step. At least you know what your goal is. At least you know you're aiming to meditate every day. I want to say that we are very limited in a lot of ways, I'm learning, on this planet, especially while reading my current book, Everything You Ever Needed to Know by David Icke. Really good book. We're limited in our hearing, we're limited in our sight, we're limited in our verbiage, we're limited in our way of thinking. And I do want to push past all of those limits. I just want you guys to know that you do not need words to connect with the creator of all. Everything is energy, everything is vibration. Set your intent, set your energy the correct way, and just let the conversations flow, or just let the energy flow, and you'll know. It's a feeling that you'll feel inside you that is sometimes undescribable, but you know it's coming from a place of love, of healing, of positivity, of happiness, high vibrational feelings. There's not one specific way to access your connection with source. There are many different ways to access that connection, and you do so how you feel most comfortable. But make sure that it is coming from a place of love. When I say that I'm a spiritual person, or I, associate myself with spirituality, some people give me that look by thinking, oh, you're one of them, conspiracy theorists. And while for the most part, spirituality can be associated with conspiracy theory, I'm not even going to get into the breakdown of those two words, but spirituality does not always have to be associated with conspiracy theories about the world. Spirituality can just be about the type of energy that you have around you, the type of person that you are, the type of being that you are, that connection that you have with the source. It doesn't have to be about theories or conspiracies about our world. It can just be about tapping into higher versions of yourself, trying to be a better you than you were the day before, aiming to have higher vibrational experiences every day. I think that's mostly what spirituality is about, tapping into the most highest versions of yourself. It doesn't always have to be associated with conspiracy theories. And I think that's what a lot of people get mixed up, especially when in today's media, they put that narrative out there like every spiritual person is associated with a conspiracy theory, when that doesn't always have to be the case. Mind you, that the conspiracy theory, 9 out of 10, the theory isn't even a theory, and the conspiracy isn't a conspiracy, but it's some truth in it. But that's beside the point. The media twists it to make it seem like all spiritual people are crazy, but that's not the case, or they don't know what they're talking about. But the spiritual journey can just really be about healing yourself, healing those around you, and being the best, most highest version of yourself. Spirituality is not a trend. Spirituality is a state of being. Realize that you shouldn't start a spiritual journey if you're doing it just to follow the trend or follow other people. It is one that you should choose for yourself. It is a feeling that you should have inside. Spirituality is an experience. It's not based off of material possessions or a physical thing that you must have in order to experience it. And I'm realizing while having this conversation with you guys that when people ask, when did your spiritual journey begin? I think the question is more of saying, when did you realize that you were a spirit having a human experience? Because that's ultimately what it really is. We are spiritual beings having a human experience, not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are cosmic, we are infinite, we are part of the source creator of all, and that these experiences that we are having are just one of our many experiences that we have had and are to have. And sometimes we may remember those past experiences, sometimes we may not. But ultimately, spirituality is just a feeling that you have inside. It's something that you choose to embark on. And sometimes, most of the time, it isn't something specific or a specific point in your life that made you embark on the journey. When I was, considered a religious person, I didn't feel too sure in my religion. I was following my religion out of fear. And I think that a lot of people around the world are following religion out of fear. For me, when I was following my religious journey, I was very fearful, like I said, of doing the wrong thing, of burning in hell was my fear. I was scared. And I feel like when you have a connection with your creator, it shouldn't be one that's based off of fear or a low vibrational emotion. Because that means that you're not doing it because that's something that you truly feel happy about and that you want to do, but that you're scared of the consequences, that you're scared of that being. And so you'll do what they say because so it's not really a choice, you know? And if we have free will, it was like, how could we have free will, but at the same time, we're do this because we're scared of the consequences? That's not really free will. If you're feeling that way or similar to what I was feeling, meaning you're following or practicing a religion because you're fearful, then maybe that isn't the journey for you. The creator of all our source would not experience the emotions that we have or that we experience as beings on this planet, would not experience jealousy or anger. I believe that source creator is one that's filled with love, positivity, happiness, comfort, a higher vibration. The connection that you have with our creator is not one that should be based off of low vibrational emotion. When you truly have that connection with the creator, it'll be one of love, light, and positivity and happiness. It'll be one that you feel like you truly have no worries. You feel divinely protected and loved and guided. It's a choice. You're choosing to believe in this. You're choosing to follow this. The creator that created us would not have created us just to live in fear or to follow it out of fear. I honestly just want to have a terrific human experience here and to, like I said, tap into the most highest version of myself. I don't like it when I see other people, especially people my age, struggling spiritually or religiously with themselves because they're afraid of something bad happening to them. They're afraid to do anything. They're being put down. They're being shunned because of their way of thinking. And I don't believe that anyone should have to go through that or deserves to go through that. Everyone goes through their different journeys differently. Everyone has their connection with the source differently, but it's just a matter of the way you're connecting to source. And I think something that's also important to realize with spirituality and being on a spiritual journey, I know I talked about this before, but loneliness. The journey can be quite lonely because you're experiencing everything for the first time, looking from a different perspective by yourself. Some people aren't experiencing the same realities or things as you. Everybody isn't on the same spiritual journey, so you may feel like you don't have anyone to talk to, especially if a lot of people in your life aren't on a spiritual journey. But I want you to know that you should persevere, you will make it through, you will have the friends or the family that you're looking for. But moral of today's video is to realize, my friends, that you do not need material possessions to tap into your connection with the source. You do not need material possessions to tap into the most highest versions of yourself. You sometimes don't even need words to tap into that connection. If you are a religious person, it is okay if you're leaning towards taking a spiritual journey now. Do not condemn yourself. Do not allow other people to put you down or make you feel bad about choosing a different journey for yourself. And if you are a religious person who's found happiness in religion and you are experiencing a positive connection with Source, with God, and it is not one that is based off of fear, that is terrific, that is wonderful, that does not happen for a lot of people, but it is happening for you. And I truly am happy that you are able to experience that. There's a lot of things out here that we can learn, my friends, to better ourselves, to enhance our spiritual journey, and become the most highest versions of ourselves. We are only limited based on the limitations that we put on ourselves. But let's break through those limitations and let's become the best versions of ourselves that we possibly can be. And for those of you that are on a spiritual journey, keep going, keep growing, find peace, love, and happiness, my friends. And thank you so much for tuning in today.